Hey, Miss Blair. How you doing?
I think we're ready, Alyssa, if you're ready.
Any water or anything?
No, I do need some.
Alright, Shelley, help yourself in the back as you need. Alright, so, we'll go ahead and call this School Accountability Committee meeting for Mitchell to order. Thursday, January 9th. So, thank you for braving the ensuing weather and coming in person or putting up with technology and showing up online. We're gonna get through this agenda hopefully really pretty quick. So we'll start with our student spotlight.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and I will be sharing, now that I had it all ready. Where did it go? There it is. I'll get this going here. Share. All right, so last night at our board meeting, and I intended to have the ThesCon students here, but our couple of our ThesCon students and our, they're thespians, they went to ThesCon, which is a presentation where they put on display their skills and talents and compete on the state level. And as you'll see in the video, I invited the students here, but they're preparing for their winter and spring, their next production that they're going to be putting on. So they're actually in the auditorium right now practicing. So we're gonna do a student spotlight tonight that's more virtual, and so I'll go ahead and get that playing right now.
Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great job. Great, thank you.
I like you.
Hi, how are you?
I like you.
ThesCon, the Colorado Thespian Convention, or ThesCon, is Colorado's leading educational theater conference, bringing together middle and high school students for a weekend of performances, workshops, and networking opportunities. A weekend filled with active theater workshops designed especially for high school students. Students and chaperones self-select events to attend during the 9 workshops and individual event thespies sessions. High school theater in Colorado supports the 5th largest economic industry in the state, the creative sector. Students can participate in individual events or thespies, apply to be a student leader through the State Thespian Officer Program, audition for a number of colleges and universities, and so much more. Students who receive a superior are able to go on to the National ThesCon.
A huge round of applause for all our ThesCon participants. And I'm gonna make, first I'm gonna ask Ms. Aaron to, Lynn to make some comments, just because I've had such a great opportunity to be engaged with you. And I'm gonna make, why don't you kind of give us some overarching. First I'm gonna ask Ms. Aaron to, Lynn to make some comments, just because I've had such a great opportunity to be engaged.
Opportunity for students to be.
Why don't you kind of give us some overarching. First I'm gonna ask Ms. Aaron to, Lynn to make some comments, just because I've had such a great opportunity to be engaged.
Opportunity for students to be.
Why don't you kind of give us some overarching. First I'm gonna ask Ms. Aaron to, Lynn to make some comments, just because I've had such a great opportunity to be engaged.
Opportunity for students to be.
Why don't you kind of give us some overarching. First I'm gonna ask Ms. Aaron to, Lynn to make some comments, just because I've had such a great opportunity to be engaged.
Opportunity for students to be.
Why don't you kind of give us some overarching. First I'm gonna ask Ms. Aaron to, Lynn to make some comments, just because I've had such a great opportunity to be engaged.
Opportunity for students to be.
Why don't you kind of give us some overarching. First I'm gonna ask Ms. Aaron to, Lynn to make some comments, just because I've had such a great opportunity to be engaged.
Opportunity for students to be.
Why don't you kind of give us some overarching. First I'm gonna ask Ms. Aaron to, Lynn to make some comments, just because I've had such a great opportunity to be engaged.
Opportunity for students to be.
Why don't you kind of give us some overarching.
With all of these people and all of my friendships with them, just feel like more deep than they were before. So I've definitely come out of this experience with a lot more lifelong friendships than I came in with, which is also something I'm very grateful for. And also throughout this experience, we were able to talk to different colleges, and I had auditioned for college scholarships while I was there. For example, the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City, they reached out to me and asked them to meet with them at their table, and they offered me up to $15,000 in scholarships for their college, which is very exciting and an opportunity that I will definitely be taking up. And I'm very grateful for being able to go, and it was a great experience overall.
Hi, my name is Kylie Keller of Troop 2959 from Mitchell High School, and I would be honored to represent Colorado Springs at the International Thespian Festival. Nationals it's like the Super Bowl for theater kids. So we get to spend a whole week going to workshops, getting hands-on experience, building real-world skills, and seeing the best of the best performances. So think ThesCon, but bigger, better, and bolder, okay? We had this amazing opportunity we get to spend the whole week on a university campus where hundreds of colleges from around the country will be representing, and this is gonna really help us with what we wanna do after high school. And we get to network with nationally recognized leaders in the thespian community and real professionals, and connect with like-minded peers. Additionally, we get to spend the whole week on the university campus, and I already said that.
Bring it on.
Theater is about storytelling, and we really want to tell the story of Colorado Springs at the national level. So please consider us to compete for our dreams.
So, big round of applause for all of our SCOT participants, particularly for the staff. I know the tireless amount of work it takes to be able to get children up and through their dreams. And so the standard that's been set by your peers last year is, you ask me now, are you gonna pay for us to go to nationals? And the answer when you all stand up here is, of course the district is gonna pay for you to go to nationals. So, big round of applause, and dramatically exit stage right. There we go, thank you. Thanks. Good. Thanks, everybody.
Okay,
I have a question.
yes.
How many students made superiors from Mitchell?
That was my question.
2.
Two, thank you. Kylie and who?
Oh, goodness. I'll have the answer before we leave tonight.
Okay, thank you.
It's in an email.
And one other thing, because these are theater people, there's this prestigious award that is similar to a Tony Award, but for high school students. I only know this because my cousin won.
Okay,
It's called the Jimmies.
okay.
And so I wonder if any Mitchell students will be in contention for a Jimmy.
All right, good information. I think all I really want to add on that, very proud, 3 people spoke, 2 of them are Mitchell representatives, right? Our Miss Lynn Goodwin-Wittry, who is our theater teacher, does a great job. She's been here since the reconstitution in 21 and 22, and she's just an amazing talent as a teacher, first of all, and is a big draw. Just herself, she's a big draw for the students to come to Mitchell. She's starting to show her influence, and so you could see how she's actually starting to lead other programs and speak for other programs across the district. So we're proud about Miss Lynn Goodwin-Wittry. And then the young lady there with Kylie Keller, if you came to the homecoming football game, she has an amazing voice as well, and sang the national anthem at the homecoming football game, and just she's just quite the talent. So yeah, a superior rating from her. We'll get the name of our other Mitchell student who got the other superior rating, but you could see they're handing out scholarships they're getting exposure opportunities. When we talk about peak experiences for Colorado Springs School District 11, these kids are experiencing these peak experiences, traveling abroad, traveling nationally, and so just really encouraged to see all the students at the board meeting last night, but Mitchell's being represented, stood to the front of all of those being represented. So anybody else want to chime in on that?
How many Mitchell students competed in Denver altogether?
13, was it 13 kids got on the bus that day?
At least,
I think it was 13 kids got on the bus that day, because I went on the bus and sent them off and said good luck to them. Break a leg is what you said, I guess.
Yeah.
I do believe it's 13. I could verify that though for you.
Nice.
Any other comments? I see anybody in the chat or virtual, anything to add before we move forward from the student spotlight? Okay, I think we're good.
I actually have an additional student spotlight.
Okay.
I happen to know a couple things. I happen to know that Mitchell doesn't currently have a PTA, unfortunately. But I also know that Matthew Cole, who is a senior at Mitchell, has participated in the PTA Reflections program for the last 4 years, actually. PTA Reflections is now a national program sponsored by National PTA that started here in Colorado Springs, and it's for all visual and fine arts for students to submit an art piece of any kind with an artist statement. So there's several categories. So literature teachers, music teachers, maybe drama teachers, any form of art, even without a PTA, those teachers can submit individual students for a category with that student's work. So Matthew has placed at the El Paso County PTA level for photography, high school photography.
Yes.
He competed, so each category you compete first countywide, and then everybody in El Paso County, or in Colorado I should say, who places at their county is automatically progressed on to the state level. So the awards are next week, and students will find out what their ranking or placement for their art piece is. They don't know yet till the ceremony. And then the state awards will be in March.
Awesome.
So another representative of Mitchell out of the world.
And it's PTA, what's the second part?
Reflections
PTA Reflections Photography specifically.
for him, yes.
Yes.
But there's, I don't know, 6 or 8 different categories, everything from dance to literature to, what was I gonna say? Composition, you can compose your own music, to, photography, there's everything. And they go kinder through second, or through 12, kinder through 12, so.
That's awesome.
Anyway, okay.
Congratulations to Matthew, yes.
He won
And he's
last
also
year,
helping
did
us
he not?
live broadcast tonight, so.
He did, he won,
Just the county?
he got a gold level, no, he got gold at
Yes,
state.
that's what I thought.
And all the first place winners for each category move on to nationals.
Mhm.
So actually last year he placed it county, then he went to state and got gold, which is first. So for photography, he was one of a few Colorado photography kids that went to national.
Mhm.
We didn't go and he didn't place, but his piece was submitted.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
so we're down to public comment. Are there any public comments in the room, online, that have been submitted in writing ahead of time?
I received none, I can say. I don't know if anyone else did.
Going once, twice. All right, no public comments. So that brings us down to Mr. Blanc. You're on the stage.
All right. Good
Great.
evening, everyone.
Let me cue this
Mr. Smith's
presentation
going
up
to
real
try
quick.
to cue up the presentation. It's hard for me to sit down, and I'm a teacher by heart, so it's hard for me to sit down and do this. So
You'll
I
do
want to
it.
get up and teach and move around and see what everybody's doing.
All right,
You
let's see.
ready?
Let me see if it's gonna let me do presentation on here. Says viewing.
I'll say, Mr. Blanc, thanks for coming tonight, even though you were on the schedule last month and something came up. So
Yes,
thanks for holding a spot for us again.
thank you for holding me a spot. It's my pleasure to come and let you guys know what's going on. In my world, I guess, I get to tell you what I get to deal with all day.
Well, Mr. Blanc.
Keep the place running, right?
That's right, we have to. It's okay if you can do something, do it that way, that's fine.
There we go. It's coming up. Give me, just bear with me a couple more seconds. Okay. All right.
All right.
And, yeah, go ahead. You're good.
I'm good to go? All right, so, tonight I'm gonna, present to you guys some, BAG data. If you don't know what BAG is, that's behavior, attendance, and grades, along with, what our MTSS process looks like here at Mitchell High School. So, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. The next slide, is gonna be our suspensions over time and what our suspensions look like this year at Mitchell High School. We are the, if you can, we're the green line this year. And the green line, it starts in August and goes to December. This year we had, August was, we had 45 offenses occur. September, we went up to 142. That was higher than our previous 2 years. And then we start our decline. In October, we went to 100, November 90, and December 51 offenses. So we are trending way down, as you can see on the number of offenses that are occurring at Mitchell High School per our Code of Conduct handbook over the last 3 years. And so we look at this data in my office. We look at this constantly to kind of see where we're headed, how are our kids behaving in school. And so suspension or offenses that have occurred, you can see we're on a downward trend. If you look at go ahead and go to the next slide, Mr. Smith. If you look at the next slide, this slide is showing us the counts of out-of-school suspensions that we've had in this year compared to last year. And so last year was a little bit lower. We've had quite this year's lower. Last year we had quite of a jump. And so you can see that our out-of-school suspensions in August, last year were 13, this year were 7. September, 29, this year, 25. The previous school year in October, 30. This year was 16. October is usually we call that Rocktober, right? Because it typically is a hard month. November, we dropped down from 22 to 12 this year. December, we were at 49 last year, and down to 10. And what we really looked at was what is the culture in our building, and I think the culture is really changing to that more positive, where kids can feel like they can talk to us and not have the emotional outbursts or whatever they're having during that time of year when they're having to go home for 2 weeks. Our next slide this tells you this year's offense types. So we have had, if you look at the first one, we've had 3 alcohol offenses. We've had 1 bullying and harassment. We've had we've had a couple not allegations but actual bullying that has occurred. Our biggest violation you can see here, and you guys are probably going, what the heck is that, right? Other violations of the Code of Conduct. Okay, so within that falls cell phone violations, out of designated area, not being where you're supposed to be and skipping, those types of things, and then any restorative conversations we've had. So that's what falls within this category. So what we really do are our restorative conversations a lot of the time when this happens with our students and when they're out of designated area. You can see that I believe it's the chart before, that's how many instances we've had, but they haven't received out of school suspension, because what we want is we want our kids to be in school, so we use our in-school suspension a lot more than our out-of-school suspension.
The one thing I'll chime in on here is what we're very proud about and what we've been able to be consistent on since 2021-22, when I became principal, is the one thing you'll hear us not talk about, and I hope I'm not jinxing our school, we don't even talk about expulsions. What you see on this graph right here is, and I'm not saying that we can't reduce the infractions or the consequences that result in out-of-school suspensions. We can always do better work on that. But what we're very proud about is that our students are conducting themselves in such a way that we don't even have to talk about expulsions, because dangerous weapons, assaults, drug possession, drug dealing, this type of stuff is not happening on Mitchell campus, and we're very proud about that.
Go ahead. All right, you can move to the next slide. Let's talk about our attendance at Mitchell High School. Right now, Mitchell High School we're at a 81.8% attendance. 63.4% of our students are chronically absent. That means that they have missed 10% or more of school. This is where we this is where the work comes in. And we have our dean of students working on that, making home visits, going out into the community. Some kids we do use restorative practices and check-in, check-outs, things of that nature. They have to, once we get them into school and they're on a contract, they have to go to the teacher and have the teacher sign that they were in class and get updates that way. This goes through our MTSS. If a student is below the 80% mark, they start going into our MTSS process with our dean of students, so that they can put even more interventions in place and get a success plan with the family and put that together with the family. So there's a lot of work going on here, as you can see, because we do have 63.4% of our students are chronically absent. However, compared to the district.
Real quick, before we go off this slide though, around the chronically absent, you'll see in that gray box at the very bottom, chronically absent, you can also define that as students who have below a 90% attendance rate. So the bar is fairly high. I'm not going to say 90% is great actually, but I'm going to say that's fairly high, and that's a district standard. And so, yeah, if a student falls below that 90% benchmark, they are considered chronically absent. I'll go forward to the district.
I have a couple questions, actually, can
Go ahead.
stay there.
Yeah.
So we're at 81.8% of the entire population, student body for
Correct.
attendance at school,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
But, so 19% is in the absent category. So are you saying that 63% of that 19% is chronic?
No, ma'am. 63.4% of students have less than a 90% attendance rate.
So how do we get to 81.8 of students are in school?
So that's a calculation done at the district level for average daily attendance, and the state has a algorithm that they use, and to be quite honest with you, I don't know what that algorithm is, other than if a student misses, they're marked present if they're here for half of the day.
Right.
So that's why there's some fluctuation in those numbers.
Okay.
So if a kid is here for half of the day, they're actually marked as being present for that whole day.
But then individual classes, like afternoon classes, contribute toward that 63% if they left.
Yes, so there's a difference in per period attendance, and that's what we're looking at here, is a per period attendance. So this is not the number that the state will get, okay, because it's per period attendance.
Is that
The state gets a number, right? The state will get a number, if a kid was here, let's say, so here's what it is. If they were here for 2 periods or 2 blocks, they count as being present.
Right.
What we're looking at here is a more,
Where
a
is
deeper
here?
dive.
Where is here?
I'm sorry, the per period attendance is a deeper dive.
Is that the 63%?
No, that's the 81.
Okay, all right, okay.
I'm sorry. That's the 81%.
Uh-huh.
So when we're looking at the 81%,
Oh.
if a kid misses 1 period, right, that's a 75% attendance.
Right, okay,
So we do it, this is a deeper dive
right,
than what the state number is gonna be.
okay.
Because a kid could come to school for 2 periods, say they came first period and last period.
Yeah,
That counts as a full day.
yeah,
So there's a whole algorithm that goes in here, but what we're looking here is a deeper dive because this gives us a better, what I believe is a better idea of where our kids are every day. Does that make sense?
I'll say it in another way. The per period attendance rate are the periods attended divided by the periods possible.
okay.
And so that's what that blue box is. That's the 81.8, which is, I'm gonna go ahead and round up and say 82. But then when you start looking at chronic absenteeism, those are the kids that have 10% or more of absences.
Do you know this? How many of those kids with chronic absence are medically related
Don't know the answer to that question.
or sped related?
I can find out,
Just curious.
but I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah, that would
Um,
be interesting.
I can tell you this, that we have more unexcused absences than we do excused absences.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is that communication for the absence is not happening as what we would like it to be.
Okay.
Sorry.
Mhm.
This is a related question. So among those students, you said that you have more students who have unexcused absences. In the multilingual community, are the parents prone to calling in and excusing absences when the older siblings have to take care of youngers?
It's half and half.
Okay.
It's half and half. I mean, I don't have and that's just conceptual for me, right? Because I really don't have a number on that, but what I see and what I feel, it's half and half. Because you're right, there are older siblings taking care of younger kids and that type of thing. But our Hispanic family, they do a pretty good job of calling in when they know they need to call in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna say I don't know the answer to that, just to be blunt. But what I can tell you is if we're 55% Hispanic, which we can't just say Hispanic means MLL.
No.
MLL students, we are at 15%. Even if the MLL students, let's say just hypothetically, the MLL students were 100% attendance rate, that would put the school attendance rate at 75%. That's telling me that MLL students are coming to school.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Maybe at a 50% rate that Mr. Blanc feels, but I don't go, I'm glad he's comfortable saying that. I just don't go off of that, but I'm just approximating that if I took the MLLs out of the equation, that would take that percentage down to 75 right off the bat. But we're above 81.8, or we're at 82, let's say. So that means that there's got to be a good portion of MLL students that are coming to school, reporting absences, doing this type of thing. Because if not, if it was a really low percentage, that would just plummet the whole attendance rate. So I think going back to what Mr. Blanc mentioned in terms of culture, communication, teamwork, partnership, I think we can see that's improving even for an MLL population, even for students that might have medical concerns. However, we're not satisfied at all at 80, I'm rounding up 82%, and a 63 chronic absenteeism. We got to get better with that.
So, again, or additionally, is there any way that you can, because I know you probably have somewhere the data who are the kids involved in that 63.4%, and what do they have in
So-
common? Who?
so
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we have time for the rest of the presentations. He's going to get into the MTSS process. That's why on the agenda where you see the bag data and you see MTSS, this is where his job is very integral to put these two items together.
Yeah.
So we may be answering some questions as we get further into the presentation.
Are tardies counted as absences?
No.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna move us forward to the district data, which is kind of a comparison just to see how the districts, how we're comparing to the district, this similar data.
And this is the entire district, including elementary schools, right? It's the entire district, so it's just not high schools. So you have to, so see, we're at an 84.8 per period attendance rate at the district, and 48.7% of our student population chronically absent. So this is the chronic absenteeism. If we can work on our chronic absenteeism, it will boost our per period.
So, and I think a key takeaway of this is the district as a system, we gotta do better at this. And this is not necessarily a educator thing, right? This is parent involvement. This is MIS2 for us. And we've talked about it amongst this SAC for 2 years now. Parental engagement, when parents are involved, attendance rates go up. That we all know that. So anyhow, you want me to move to the next
Yeah.
one?
So Mitchell's attendance over the last, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 years plus this year, so 5 years, over time, has really, this graph is kind of misleading because it's 5%, it goes up by 5%. So it really has fluctuated between 88 to 89 in green, is that green? In 2023. So it's kind of fluctuated. We're hovering, you know, right around the 80s right now. It is below where we would like it to be. We know that. And we're trying to really get a hold of that so that we see a better increase for the second semester.
Yeah, the trend lines are, I mean, if you just kind of look at, they all stay pretty consistent, start high, move lower into December, and then flatten out. The spike at the end of the year is misleading too, because that's when school's out.
And that's summer school. Is that an 88, 88, and 89? That's summer school. So, you know, we've stayed between 82 really, 82 and 83, right in that range.
Well, and you look at the January line, 78 to 83, and we just showed you the number rounding up once again to 82. We're in that 1% ballpark, but yeah, once again, there's work to be done.
This is the districts, what the district looks like, and they're not really any different. You know, where they go 89, fluctuates to 85. And so our goal almost every year is 92%. We want to get to 92% attendance every year as a district. And excuse me, that's what I just told our kids in our class meetings that we had. Because we want to get at 92. So what you're looking here, we go back to the chronic absenteeism for Mitchell High School. And what I did here for you is I broke it down by grade. Our seniors, and this is a typical attendance graph at any high school when you look at this. Your seniors with the most, followed by your freshmen, and then your 10th and 11th grade, because they're really, and now what's going to happen for this year, for now, is this will shrink because it's second semester, right? 12th grade will shrink because it's for second semester, because I have to graduate, I have to be here, I have to get right? So this will shrink, and ninth grade will shrink, and 10th and 11th will probably stay flat. That's usually what you see where, so, did I say the numbers? Ninth grade is at 55% chronically absent, 10th graders at 51, 11th graders are at 48, and 12th graders are at 59 chronically absent. So that's where you will see that fluctuation again. 12th graders, second semester, that really decreases. Thank you for keeping me on time. We're going to go to the MTSS process and looking to what that looks like. At Mitchell High School, you can go to the next slide.
What's that stand for?
Multi-tiered systems of support. So we look at on-track data. I'll start at the bottom over here on the right, on your right. We have off-track data, and that's a GPA less than 2.0 or 2 or more Fs in core courses. We have a sliding category, which is GPA of 2.0 to 3.0. On track is anywhere from 3.0 and above, and GPA is college ready is 3.0 or above, and B average on core courses. Now, this is district level data. At Mitchell, we look at every class. Okay, when we're looking at our MTSS, but this is our district data, and you can see that we have quite a few above. What is that? 61% that were off track according to the district at semester. 10th grade, I'm going to say a little bit above 40. 11th grade, almost 40. And 12th grade, maybe that's about 30% of off track. And so what we do with our MTSS is we go ahead and go to the next slide. I think it's the next slide. Yes, what we do with our MTSS, we are really starting to align with what the district is doing with our MTSS. We have identified and formed an MTSS core team this year, which is part of our MIS 2. And so, because we feel that we have made enough, we've made enough gains with our what we have now at Mitchell High School that we can now put together an MTSS team and really look into Tier 1, our Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions. So we formed a committee that we meet. We do have reoccurring meetings. We have conducted a needs assessment. We can progress monitor. We set a goal for a kid on the MTSS team that kid has. We set a goal for them. We use the interventions that we have here at Mitchell High School to do that we have, and then we progress check that every week to see where they're at. We use what's called the early warning system indicators and that's data and perception data. You guys have heard of our 5E survey, essential surveys. I'm going to show you a little bit about that here in the end. We use that to really move our MTSS team and strategically put things in place, interventions in place to move our culture, to move our kids to getting better grades, attendance, and behavior. We assign through that team, we assign Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions based on what their data is showing us. So we look at that as a team and we place them in those intervention buckets. And then the success teams, which Ms. Jordan she leads, and each one of the administrators has a team as well. We look at that data and those interventions, and they can then put together interventions for those students as well. But that's how we monitor progress. So what we're looking at to do here in January is we're going to align with Maddie Francis.
Yes, thank you.
I knew it would come to me when I was doing this because I was having a hard time. Maddie Francis district collaboration with Power School tool because it's fairly new. And we're putting that together. We're going to disseminate a teacher referral out of that so the teachers can do the referral. We're still going to continue looking at our early warning system data to track progress towards graduation for each student, because even starting in 9th grade, because 9th grade, these predictors, attendance and test scores show us pretty much where they're going to be towards graduation. We assign those we're going to assign each meeting, we assign tier 2 and tier 3 interventions. Our success teams are going to progress monitor for students who are credit deficient, and we're going to making referrals to the appropriate interventions. That's what's coming up in January. We have 2 meetings per month. We moved it. We're just only having one, and we said, as a team, we said we want to move faster, so they want to do two meetings per month. Our perception data. This is our interim perception data that you're looking at. I will read the bottom here to you. It will explain the graph. So our student safety perception in quarter 1 to quarter 2, the biggest declines in very safe occurred outside around the school. From 28.6% to 21.8% of our students feeling safe, a drop of 6.8 points. It also dropped in assemblies from students, so this is from safe dropping, right, from the top to, these are not good numbers. You don't want to go down, we want to go up in this category. In assemblies, 36.9% to 31.9%, that's a 5% drop. However, our bathrooms improved, with very safe moving up from 21.7 to 24.5 at 2.8 points. And not safe went down from 11 to 7, which you want that to go down. That's a negative 4-point drop. So areas to watch, of course, are outside and activities. We're not safe rose outside 3.3 to 5.2, that's 1.9 points. Activities 2.4 to 4.4%, that's an increase of 2 points. And that's suggesting that we reinforce of our tier 1 routines and supervision of those spaces. Outside of Mitchell High School, we can only go so far. We go just Mitchell High School, right? And so we've been supervising those things, moving around, making sure people are in the right spot so that kids feel safe outside of our school. So just wanted to highlight that really we are improving inside the school.
Is this part, I'm sorry, is this part of your 5E student survey? Is
Yes.
that what this is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was confused because you jumped from MTSS to this, because I had a question about the MTSS.
Oh, sure.
Well, really quick.
It's an easy question.
I want to answer, but I want to jump in, Rebecca, because you're making a good point. I want to make the correlation. Behavior oftentimes stems from not feeling safe in an environment. So that correlation is key. So he didn't necessarily jump from MTSS. Maybe we could have articulated it a little bit differently, but the importance of how students perceive the environment is going to possibly promote how they engage and perform in the environment. So, but yes, please ask your question.
Do you know, I'm assuming you know, but I want to phrase it this way, do you know what percentage of students are in your MTSS process?
Yes.
from your student population?
Yes, so really what we're looking at, I will give you the number, I just got my early warning dashboard up, so I'm gonna give you that number. I just have to do some calculations real quick.
And if we need to, we can always provide those
Yeah.
as follow-up to the
Yeah.
minutes as well, if
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
fine.
want detailed numbers. So we're not
I was
crunching
just
numbers.
curious how many,
He may be able to find that and get that out, just like I promised Sharon. We can get the names of the students, the other superior rating students out. But we can share those in the minutes maybe.
I'm also curious if we know, out of those chronic absent kids, how their grades are. So are they still submitting work? Are they still somehow holding their grade at least somewhat, even though they're marked absent? Are they doing work outside of the classroom?
Once again, I would say, I'm going to venture and say yes to that answer. Why? Because the graduation rate tends to be higher than the chronic absenteeism rate. So it's interesting, but see, that's the conundrum with public education. We establish, I guess, guidelines and criteria for students to meet in order to meet graduation requirements. They walk across the stage, they get a diploma, yet then when we go back to their records, they've been chronically absent, they're performing under proficient for literacy and mathematics, but yet they earn credentials through the criteria that we've established to have them walk across the stage. And I'm not saying that's necessarily right or wrong, I'm just simply saying that's the system that we're operating in right now. But to answer your question, Alyssa, I'm going to venture to say, without knowing the hard numbers, that yes, students who are chronically absent can still do work, can still receive credit, and can still walk across the graduation stage, because the graduation rate is higher than the chronic absenteeism rate. And it has been that way at least for 5 years, I can tell you that. Good question, though. And two good questions.
So Rebecca, I do have the answer to your question.
Mm-hmm.
You asked for the percentage, correct?
Yeah.
It is 3.1%. We have 19 kids in that,
Okay.
In the
Thank you.
in the
MTSS process.
MTSS process.
For behavior or grades?
For behavior, attendance, and grades, yes.
For any of them?
Yes, for in those three categories, yeah.
So the early warning system, the input that goes into the early warning system that the district uses to identify students who should go into the MTSS process, the input are behavior, attendance, and grades.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important. Again, I'm going to circle us back to the title of this agenda item. Bag data plus MTSS. It all goes together. You've oftentimes heard me say this before. There's a big Venn diagram out there somewhere where you put this together, and in the middle lands the recipe for a student that needs the additional supports, and that's the goal, is to make sure that we are delivering to the best of our ability those supports for those students that are identified through the early warning system and the bag data.
Right, and if any of you ever want a deeper dive into the early warning system, please make an appointment with my secretary and get on my calendar, and I would take about an hour to do so, but I would love to sit down and show you what that looks like.
Any other quick questions right now for Mr. Blunt?
What's the time frame, or do you have a time frame or a time limit or extension on putting these students through the MTSS process? What is it that the district does here for Mitchell to get them in through the MTSS process? And does it take 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months to get them in? What does it take?
The MTSS system, or the early warning system, really allows us to look at kids, and when I say they're in a multi-tiered system of support, right? At Mitchell High School, we have it's tiered. What you have to think about is think of pancakes on top of pancakes, right? And each one of those being maybe SEL or behavior. Another one might be attendance, right? And so all of those layers are what make up MTSS. So when you ask about a timeline, there's really not a timeline because it's more circular. Does that make sense? And so when you're talking about a timeline through MTSS, it's more when are you progress monitoring those students to see if the intervention that you're using, is it working or not? Right? If it works, and you get a kid through in an intervention and it works, why would you take that intervention, you wouldn't take it away? Does that make sense? You would continue to use that intervention with that student.
So, go ahead, Alyssa.
I think what you're asking, Rebecca, is once a kid is referred,
Yes.
how long before they start the intervention?
Receiving those services.
Yes. So there's a trial period, or not a trial, but like a observation.
I know the process, because
Okay.
we do it at Keller, but I know the process because it took one of my multilingual students almost over a year and a half just to get into the MTSS process. And I was just wondering if Mitchell students have to go through something like
How many
that.
hoops are there?
Right,
Yeah.
there's not, once you are identified and we can get an intervention, it's really dependent upon, I would think, upon the intervention, right? It shouldn't take longer than a week or two for you to get, once you're identified, to get that intervention started.
And maybe that time frame has accelerated for a student because now you're meeting as a team twice a month instead of once a month.
Correct.
So as soon as they're identified, the team is talking about them within a 2-week period.
Right, and we also have the success teams talking about them as well in those interventions.
Yeah, but for the MLL students, because MLL department has to get involved, they have to come out and observe the student and determine whether or not it's not a language problem, it's something else, a
Yes.
processing problem,
Right,
whatever.
so, yeah.
How many individuals are on our MTSS team? Just numbers. I know it's in double digits.
It's in double, yeah,
Last
it's
time
like
I looked.
14?
So to your point, Rebecca,
15?
one, Alyssa makes a good point. Increase in January to 2 meetings per month. Multiple over double digits of team members. So we feel that we have a comprehensive team so that when the referral takes place, it doesn't lag because we have the right people having the conversation in the moment. We have SPED representation, MLL's representation, counseling center representation, administrative representation, so on and so forth. You asked about district supports, and Brian mentioned Maddie Francis. District, I will say, is showing some initiative in terms of assigning a particular role and position for district support to push in and say, hey, one, and it's just like anything, right? There's some accountability in that, but also the support. So if Brian says, hey, I just don't have a whole lot of time to do this piece of it, Maddie has been really supportive.
Yes.
And she actually works, we have a room designated in our building because of our low enrollment right now. And she works right out of our building, but she's actually a district employee. And she's been very engaged, interactive. She already presented a PD around this to our staff. And I think the other support that I will say that comes to mind from the district level is the fact that they're just getting more aligned using the taxpayer dollars that we invested into Power School, opening up more of the programming within Power School, one-stop shop. Now a teacher can refer, which will then once again expedite the process because the teacher can refer right into Power School, which then pops up on Maddie Francis and Mr. Blanc's dashboard or whatever and says, okay, let's start looking at this kid when we meet in our meetings.
Right.
So
We have 19 folks, including Ms. Jordan and myself on that team.
What were you gonna say?
So I heard you say that the team identifies the interventions for the student. And I know that agency is a whole big thing in the district now. So when is the student voice heard in the process? That's one question. And another question is, when does the student exit out of any intervention?
Sure. The student's voice happens in the beginning with the success team and with their team from the core group. So when the core group looks, they get together. We want parent, student, right? Teachers, as many as we can, to be that kid's wraparound, for a better word. Intervention, if you're looking at a 6-week period of time, right, and you are doing good, it's a gradual release, because what you don't want to do is just say, here you go, you made it, we cured you, right? We've cured the issue, because that's not how it happens. So you have to really do a gradual release so that the problem doesn't arise again. And so you continue to do that. It could be 12 weeks. It all depends on the student.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, it all depends on the student.
Exactly. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, anything online coming in?
Anybody online? Brookie shaking her head no. Brookie, you gotta get some Red Bull.
Is she the only one online?
Hey, that first week back is always a doozy.
Tough one.
Is a doozy.
Yeah.
Is she the only one online?
Yeah, it's Miss Sanders online.
Okay, alright, she's the only one.
No, Marsha West is
Okay.
online. Matthew Cole is online.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay,
All right, but
Thank
they
you,
don't look
Mr.
like they
Ball.
have any questions.
You
Yeah.
are welcome. Thank you
For
letting me present. I appreciate that. And again, my door is open. No, it's bent.
We're hoping my PC doesn't die in the middle.
If you want to come at any time, just set up an appointment and we can chat.
All right.
good. Okay, we're gonna plug along here, put some other people in the hot seat, and Mr. Smith, you might have to give us the condensed version here.
Yeah. I don't think mine's gonna go as long, and I actually want to give, because MTSS is heavy, right? When we talk about his job, first of all, I got to give him credit in a public space. He does a phenomenal job with behavior, attendance, and grades. He's jumped in head first into the MTSS process. He has a very thankless job, and without his position and being accountable to his position, this school would not be functioning at the level that it is, and we wouldn't be getting the accolades that we get in terms of keeping hallways clean. Bathroom safety is improving. Perception is improving, just like you mentioned. Out-of-school suspensions are decreasing. So, we're, just like the SENA report said from our IE partners, conditions are right for instructional improvement, and a lot of it is to do with him and his office that he works out of there.
Us.
Yes. I'm going to move into the site-based budget, and I want to spend some time, and there's going to be a celebration, in my opinion, at the end of this. And so, if there are detailed questions about the budget, most of the answers will probably be, I don't know tonight, but I'll get back to you, because if I drill down any deeper than what what I've prepared for you, it's going to be like we're going to be looking at who purchased what from Amazon. So,
So with that,
yeah, go ahead.
before you start, I'm gonna tell Miss Standard and Miss West to wake up and pay attention, because we're gonna cluster this agenda item and the next one,
Okay.
technology needs for next year's budget,
Okay.
for instruction and learning, and they're gonna speak to that one.
Okay.
So you guys, the three of you on the hot seat, we're gonna cluster you together.
Awesome. So I'll go through and let me see real quick. I want to make sure. Brookie, are you seeing the site-based budget presentation on your screen? Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. Moving for that. So we moved towards site-based budgeting per the district, and I actually appreciate that because there's a greater deal of autonomy based upon site-level needs and what the discretion of our community is. And so I love the fact that we're presenting on this tonight so that we can get aligned with what is the vision of Mitchell High School as a community, and how, what's the influence of how I'm going to be directed or guided to spend dollars, right? And so it's a great privilege to have that, but I also know that the smartest person in the room is the room, and so I love to have the ideas come out of that. So, with that being said, let me go. This part of the presentation represents our projected enrollment. All of our budget is based upon enrollment, so it's important that we talk about that. We were projected to come into the 2025 school year at 649, I'll just round up to make it easy, approximately 650 students. That's still tremendously low. When some of you in the room were teaching in this building, when I was in high school and competing against Mitchell High School, 3,000 easy, maybe more, 5,000 kids maybe at a time. We're at 600 and not that high. What's the highest you think? In
No, the highest was before you were even thought of. So, let's see, but when I was here, maybe 1,800,
Okay.
2,000.
1,800? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
even still,
19, I think, at one point.
like, we're way off from that right now. And before I became principal, that's part of the reason why Peak Vista was sold the part of the building, right? Because it was starting to, the declining enrollment was starting to already take place. So the district at that point said, well, we're not going to close Mitchell High School, but we are going to sell a portion of the building. That's why Peak Vista even exists, because the declining enrollment had already been starting at that point. We're still seeing that trend go down, not only at Mitchell, but across the district. And so that's why when we're at board meetings and we're engaging, hopefully in this new bond movement, I'm gonna throw that plug in there as well, because Mitchell still needs upgrades. If Mitchell's gonna stay open, we need upgrades. All of that is still based on per pupil enrollment. We were projected at I'm rounding up by 650 at the middle of the year for the adjustment, the fall adjustment. I'm trying to move some of these out of the way. We landed at 608. I pulled numbers today in preparation for this presentation. We're at 607 as of today. Now, based upon that, the district said, well, you don't need all the money you got, so I'm sitting at the fall adjustment at a $143,500 shortfall because of the student per pupil funding, which makes sense. The yellow line that you'll see represented up there, those are trend lines for the 5 years that I've been principal. We had approximately 800 kids when I came into the building as principal. We've kind of seen this trough form, and now we're starting to slowly creep back up. And Mr. Blanc told me today, this is unofficial, but we could have potentially about 20 students sitting in central enrollment ready to transfer in the next couple of days. So we could see the 607 go up to 627, 630 roughly. So we were projected at 650. If that's the case, and we can get closer to 630, we're not too far off of projections. Of course, the marketing strategy of the district, the marketing strategy of our school, the work of our SAC, the instruction that is put out by our teachers, the performance of our students, the participation of our parents, everything we talk about is going to continue to drive that number up. As a result of the fall adjustment, we had a revised budget of $1,094,266, and we have spent about $1,419,429. Basically, all of that to be said, there's money to be spent, which is still a good thing. Why is that? There were rollover dollars in the amount of plus $600K, because we've been very frugal at Mitchell High School over the last 4 years of my tenure, extremely frugal, but in that, we've still been able to improve spaces like room 129, and the district has still been kicking in capital fund dollars for renovations like the track, the field, the air conditioning. I was telling somebody the other day that Coronado, who is, the top performing school at this point in the district, they still don't even have HVAC. We have HVAC, we have improved ball fields, we have the maker space, on and on and on. So we've been able to save some dollars. The district rolls those over. I don't know how long that's going to last, but we are sitting in a pretty good spot despite the decrease in enrollment. All right. Next slide here. This shows us, let me move this out of the way. This shows us, they're called Fund 10s. Fund 10s are the general fund. This shows where most of those dollars this year have gone up to this point. You can see that teachers' salaries and benefits are always going to rank among the top. Technology equipment actually ranks second at $219,338. Underneath that, I'm just going to mention the top 5. Professional consultant services. A lot of that is our state mandated partnership with IE. The 4th one there, general supplies, that's anything that various departments may need to operate based upon the budget allocations that they submitted to me in the spring and then have been adjusted in the fall. And then non-capital equipment, that is furniture, any type of improvements to the building that don't fall under instruction but are above $10K. The new staff lounge, if you've been up to the staff lounge where we held our 5 days of winter potluck, which actually is continuing to be utilized more and more, much of that money was, actually all of it, was spent on that renovation in the staff lounge through the non-capital equipment. And then you can see how some of those dwindle down there. The next slide is going to represent the grant side of the house. Once again, you can see we do use grant funding. Oh, grant funding, by the way, is a conglomerate of Title I, 9th grade success grant, as well as Easy Grant. Those are our 3 big grants. We do have teacher positions allocated in the teacher salaries. So once again, the allocation from grants is still heavily used for teacher salaries, teacher benefits. I can tell you right now that those salaries are our TOSAs who serve as our instructional coaches, which we made an aggressive move over 2 years now to make sure we had site-based coaches even before that was going to be a highlight of the district. Now it's just being accentuated and supported by the district at a higher level, which is good. We do have one administrator paid out of title funds, professional consulting services that we can pay out of that. We've spent $79K at this point. Teacher benefits also, so when you pay teacher salary, you got to pay their benefits. That's in the top 4, and then out-of-state travel and then there's some other expenses in there. We have put forth almost 10K for library books and periodicals, which is actually the lowest one on the on that bar graph, but it's still close to 10K that we've invested in the library and media center here. Now, this is where I said we have some good news, because I mentioned capital projects. The money that we have rolled over, so the district said, well, you got to give us back about 144K. You got to give us back because you didn't meet your per pupil quota, so to speak, or projection. So we had to give back approximately 145K. We still are in the good because of the frugality demonstrated over the course of the last 4 years, and the district continuing to roll over dollars year to year. We still have a good amount of money to continue to invest for, if it's technology. I have some ideas that I want to share, but also we've invested, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. If you remember, this is a slide that we presented at the state board last year, in the spring, when the state mandated partnership was pretty much put forth. You can see up here towards the bottom, the planetarium dollar. This is the timeline of all of the improvements that have taken place. The planetarium is not done yet, but because of, once again, pat ourselves, us in this room, staff, everybody on the back, our frugality, even though we have that shortfall, we're going to have enough money to finish the planetarium. And so that's what my segue into Miss Jordan's presentation at this time. So I'm going to bump off, and then we will have time to talk about kind of that piece about technology that I know we want to discuss. So Miss Jordan, let me get you shared up here.
Okay.
And then we can move that forward.
Okay, we can go to the next slide.
Okay. Stand by. Okay, we'll just present this way.
Okay.
All right.
So, as we're in the final stages of planetarium readiness, one of the things, I mean, Sharon, you and I kind of talked about it a little bit. One of the things I told Mr. Smith, the planetarium is operational, and we do have classes here that are benefiting from that space. However, we promised an activity room across the hall, and we did find out that we could build programs. It would take us longer. The premium package which is a part of this slideshow, we purchase, which gives us access to 4 new shows every year for 5 years. And then we have the planetarium and activity room updates, and then our projected planetarium opening. So when we purchased this new system, again, the premium package for shows was not available. It is an additional cost to have 4 full premium shows every year for 5 years. It is $44,000. Those shows have been chosen. You can go to the next slide, Mr. Smith. And we've done them at different levels. So pre-K to 2nd grade, 3rd to 5th grade, 6th to 8th grade, and then 9th to 12th grade. These 4 shows also are going to be made available for public showings, and we'll just advertise them according to grade level. And those will be shows where we would charge the public to come in and utilize. We do have a list of schools in the district who have asked to access the planetarium. Of course, it will be open initially to our southeast area. And then we have some others who are wanting to rent out the space, which I don't know, that we haven't decided upon that yet, but that they want to use it as incentives for their students, so they may not be in the southeast area. Additional cost, final construction items, room 206, we had to have that space. We have some shelving in there that needed to actually come out, so that is in process now. That room will be repainted.
And you'll see the cost up there for that, around $3,600. We have furniture for this space, that is the activity room, and I'll show pictures as we go further in, but those will be tables with whiteboard tops so that kids can actually do their activities on the table, so we don't have to necessarily bring in additional items. It seats, I think, 28 chairs in there. We have 2 storage bins for supplies, and then of course we have a podium for whomever is going to be presenting that activity. We also will have across the hall and the accent wall and the entry, we are doing cosmic constellation wall wraps for those spaces. And we chose this route because, one, it kind of flows with the school. If you've noticed the wrap on the window here in 129, and the longevity of it. So we don't have to keep spending money every other year to revamp the space with new, wall pictures, hangings, and that type of thing. That's right at $17,000. It's $15,000, 15-day installation time. The furniture cost was around $17,000. And then we had some maintenance and upkeep items. We had to get a special vacuum for the electronics in there, and special cleaning items, right at $594, not $94,000. And then, we're gonna have the ribbon cutting. We're estimating $250 to $300 for that. So the additional cost to have this planetarium fully operational and delivering what we promised is about $83,000. Let me go to the next slide. This is a picture of the furniture. This is one iteration of how that can look, so we can arrange it in different ways. Mr. Smith, if you go to the next slide, so you'll see we can have different combinations there depending on the activity, which will correlate with whatever show is going on.
But really quick too, if I may jump in, Ms. Jordan, she has been passionate about this for 3 years, and it's starting to really, like, we're right there. So the furniture in here, the furniture in the cafeteria, the furniture in the makerspace, CTE lab up top, the staff lounge, all of this is going to be uniform as a seamless product for our community and future students. She's done a nice job. Those white tabletops are white intentionally because I asked Ms. Jordan, I said, no, I like uniformity. I want to keep it gray on the top. Plus, it covers dirt, right? I was like, but these tabletops, this is the lab component across the hall. So you have that 21st century furniture that can be rearranged, but those tops are white on purpose for the agency strategies that our staff are learning in terms of, so students can write right on top of it. They're meant to be written on. So it's pretty interesting, but continue.
So this is our first iteration with the designer. We can't have too many reflective items in the planetarium, so there would just be one accent wall. This is, again, the first iteration. You can move on, Mr. Smith. And we wanted to have kind of a seamless entry from exit and entry. So exit from the planetarium, entry into 206, which is the activity room. So this is just above the locker as you walk out of the planetarium headed toward 206. This is the projected entry design for the actual planetarium. This is probably my favorite piece. I think it's very dynamic, and I think it captures the attention of anyone who's walking on that hallway, and specifically those who are coming for the show. We can go to the next slide. This is the projected entry for 206, the design, and then Mr. Smith, you can go. This is the inside, so you'll see there will be 3 walls that are wrapped with kind of this constellation. Go back one, and you can go to the next one, Mr. Smith. And then we'll have one accent wall in the activity room as well. So it has been a long process, but Ms. Sharon, if you remember our conversation, I said I'd rather not do it at all if we're not going to do it right, right? And I think that we are achieving the goal that we set out for the planetarium to make it something that is functional long after I'm out of here. So I'm excited about it. You know, there may be some tweaks here and there. Like I said, these are the first iterations. I'm kind of pleased with them. Mr. Smith is, and I have to, Hannah Anderson and I are going to meet, and she's going to review them as well. We haven't been able to connect on that.
Who is
Yeah. Hannah is going to be the curator
Coordinator?
for us. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The person in charge of the planetarium,
Mhm.
so you will have a staff person
Yes.
taking, okay, that's
Yes.
good.
She's a
I was
science
gonna ask that
She's
question.
she's a science, and right now she's teaching her astronomy class, and Richard Selfridge is gonna be kind of like the assistant, so when Hannah's not here, he can take over, and he's teaching his zoology class out of there. So they're able to create their lessons and display them on the dome right now. That's what we're doing right now. That has helped us also to work out some kinks in the system, where we've had to go back and say, hey, this is operating the way you said. So I think as we move on with this phase, we've worked out some of those kinks, and I think we'll have a seamless opening. And our opening is scheduled for mid to late February. We haven't settled on a date yet, because I want to make sure that all of this is done and that we have time to, you know, plan this properly. The furniture, we do have a delivery date for the furniture, which I failed to mention, which is gonna be January 30th.
And, yeah, great presentation, and, you know, what I just spoke with Superintendent Gall, it was either yesterday or the day before, just about the future and the vision of Mitchell High School. I really believe that the work that we're putting into this space, and it's finally about to be unveiled and accessible, you can see 83K, I'll round up 84K that Mitchell had to pitch in to get this thing across the finish line. Now, not taking anything away from the district. I know Sharon was big in the process of fighting for this. Valerie's been in the background, just continuing to work the logistics of getting everything renovated and ordered and just right. And so you can see the bow is starting to come onto the package right now, and so we're very excited about that. When I was speaking with Superintendent Gall about the vision and the future of Mitchell High School, I really see us being able to not only sell our performing arts that we opened up with as the celebration, we have improved instruction that's coming down the pike, and we also have the CTE programming, the concurrent enrollment, syllabi literacy, our flashlight scores for our MLL students are up by over 100 percentage points. They've already done a year worth of growth in a semester because we're fully staffed in the CLDE department. The opening of the planetarium, I really feel that with aviation science, the Air Force Junior ROTC, and our cybersecurity, robotics, as well as the planetarium, we're really going to have an opportunity to sell an aerospace package to the community that no other school is going to be able to offer. So
Ms. Harley, can you tell me in 30 seconds or less, when the planetarium was up and fully functioning and we had other schools coming in to benefit from it, why we had to start over from scratch?
So when the planetarium had not been operational for about 5 years because the system was antiquated. And so the cost, when this project came to me, the cost to just get the old system operational was a little over $100,000. It was like I think it was like $120,000 roughly. And it did not allow us to have the access that we have now to on-time data. So like, if you go into the planetarium now, we can bring up real-time data, like we are here, this is the atmosphere around us, these are the clouds, this is what's happening in our community. This is where you are, here are the mountains. So it brought us into the 21st century, basically. And it gives us real-time access to weather data, so we can go on NOAA, we can talk to kids about weather patterns. We could not do that with the old system, and paying $120,000 to bring that system just into an operational status did not seem like a worthwhile expenditure, because we were gonna have to continue to upgrade that.
But that's all the technology piece related to the shows and stuff. Are we reusing and bringing back out like anything that we had before, supplies, furniture, any of that?
No, because that furniture actually was also antiquated, and it did not allow us, the furniture that we have now allows us to rearrange the planetarium in accordance with shows that would be coming in. So we can change the configuration of how students are able to see the programs, which we could not do before, because the system that we had before was a big monstrous system that sat in the middle of the floor. This system allows also student interaction, so they can hold an iPad and they can direct and change directions and go, look, I want to see it from the southwest view versus the northwest view, right? So it just opens it up, again, having more student involvement, and it allows the presenter, the curator, to move around versus staying in one spot at the console to operate the system.
Yeah, this is a state-of-the-art system that's coming into Mitchell High School. That system actually has been here. Like I said, we're putting the polish or the bow on the package is all we're doing. And so we have plans, we have an internal curator, we have curriculum and programming that's going to articulate seamlessly from the astronomy class into the planetarium. Because our astronomy teacher is also going to be the curator at this point, that's the plan. That individual, Hannah Anderson, is going to be able to design the curriculum or the presentations, if you will, for the community presentations. She will get compensated for that additional role. The lab across the hallway is something, even when the old system was in play, that lab didn't exist. So now students can go from the experience of the planetarium, walk right across the hall in a seamless experience with the new artwork and wrap that's going to go on the walls and inside, and stay in the moment, and now go actually do some work, maybe cognitively, math, science, hands-on application from what they just learned from the experience, and go actually put it into practice into the lab environment that wasn't in play in the old system.
I heard everything she said. It's just my job to ask.
Sure.
No, I didn't take offense. I just wanted to, I'm excited about it, so I'm just adding on.
Yeah. All right, so it's already 6:30. I want to hear from Ms. Standard and Ms. West about technology with next year's budget in regards to instruction and learning.
Mic up, Ms. Standard. She said
The question I missed.
I actually want to take 30 seconds before I do this, though, to talk about the planetarium. I don't know if Mr. Smith knows this, but I have already taken a class in there. I went to Ms. Anderson and Mr. Selfridge and said I would like my pre-calculus class to have some sort of presentation about waves, sine, cosine waves, and they put together an amazing full block presentation relating planetary movements to 3D waves. They were able to show models, and they took it all over the place, and my students loved it. So it was a fun little experiment to do. It's awesome. I can't wait for it to be up and running fully. But
thank you.
That first. But as far as technology needs within the budget, I kind of wish Marsha were still here to talk a little bit more, because I feel like she knows more than I do. I know that Mr. Smith has talked about making sure all the classrooms end up getting ViewSonics down the road. I feel like that is something that he is already working on. I am not 100% certain what comes from district funding for technology versus school funding for technology. I will say I do not know of a single teacher in the school who likes the laptops that we have been given from the district. They are incredibly outdated, some as old as 15 years. The batteries drain within some 30 minutes, an hour, they don't function well. But I don't think that's like a school budget per se. Like I'm not sure where that funding comes from, but when it comes to personal devices within the classroom, we have very, 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 very limited options, and it is frustrating at times. And then on the flip side, if we bring our own devices, we have limitations with connecting them to the school networks. So there's like this balance of like, it feels like we don't necessarily have the technology support we need from the district, or we don't have the technology support we need with the network to be able to connect devices we can bring to the table.
Well, you're being nice. You might not have the support in the building as well, but that's why we're having a conversation about it. But yeah, Brookie's right, and she's fully engaged. I offered a donuts and coffee session to bring the staff back in January and had a really good turnout. I also mentioned in that with any additional dollars, I think I'm going to be able to have about $100K to start putting 21st century furniture back into the classrooms. Each classroom is about $10K. I'm bringing that up because that, in conjunction with technology needs, ViewSonics, staff devices, this type of thing, our teachers are going to get better taken care of as well, which is going to increase our staff retention and maybe the draw for high quality staff in the future. But I hear everything you're saying, Brooke. I couldn't agree with you more. I just had to plug in my device while I was sitting here. So, yes, we need to, if we have opportunity to support the teachers, at the school level, I'm more than open for that. And yeah, maybe it's something that the SAC could push on at the DAC to say, hey, Mitchell's staff need updated. This one's ancient. This one that I'm using, so
what is ViewSonic? Sorry.
So this is just a monitor. A ViewSonic is actually interactive.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the Promethean boards.
Thank you.
So your 1K you're gonna use for classroom furniture or classroom equipment? Because I heard you say both.
Well, teachers, Brookie, you chime in on this. You're in the classroom more than me. I'm talking specifically about furniture. But there's a two-part need in that. So I would agree with you, Alyssa. Equipment or technology is different from furniture, but our students and our teachers in the classroom deserve better furniture.
We heard Mr. Gall say that he would invest money into, yes? So
He's all about the latest and greatest. He wants it to
You are
look
on the
good.
agenda for next month.
I'm going to see him tomorrow anyways.
Okay.
Brookie, did you want to add on to anything with that?
I mean, as far as the furniture is concerned, it's falling apart. Like, our desks fall apart daily. Like, the tops are wiggly. Students can, they joke around with it. They think it's funny in a not funny way.
Yeah.
I have students in the construction team who have taken a few of the desks down to the construction room to fix them. And it's not always a great fix, but it's fun to see the students trying. But they're not good. They're not great. Can students sit down and have a writing space? Yeah, but that's like bare minimum with them. As far as like furniture versus technology, I feel like technology has been slowly upgrading in our building in general. I feel like that's already been being pushed for. The furniture, it's outdated is not quite the right word. It's like ancient. It's dinosaurs. It's like
And dangerous.
She being nice. It's awful. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's sad. There's so many words you can put to it, and yes, we're at a point where we can start pushing in on that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Alyssa, a little bit there. We're looking at both, I think is what we're trying to get at.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. I'm gonna push this along. I feel like what time is it exactly?
35 after.
Yeah. So to respect everybody's time and all of that, I feel like there's one pressing thing that we have to just touch on before we leave, which is, as a SAC from us, what do you, Mr. Smith, need, or what have you heard the DAC's requests and requirements needs are for next week as we host? And I'd like to say also, if you can come next week, please come and support Mitchell hosting the DAC next week.
Yeah. Terry gave me an update. She's been working, I don't know exactly the name of the individual, but I received the update today in our daily meeting that
Llewellyn. No. Leanne.
Who is it, Terry?
Leilani.
Yeah.
Leilani. They've been working to inquire about breakout rooms.
Yeah.
Terry gave them potential rooms that are available, and I do believe that they are just kind of seeing if that logistically is going to fit fit what the DAC's looking for.
Liliana.
Leanna, yeah. Did you?
We need breakout rooms at North. Why do we need breakout rooms here?
I'm not sure, but years ago, she
Oh.
ran those suggested rooms through Nicole, and so we are going to be hosting on the 29th.
I hope those rooms have janky furniture.
There ain't too many rooms you can go in this building where there's not, so.
It's a possibility you'll get the student experience.
Yes, they'll get the full student. Well, we gotta show them some of the nice spaces too, but anyway.
You might have somebody's autograph on there from 1968 in the NFL.
So it sounds like it's a go, but that's all I've heard to answer your question, Alyssa. Is there anything else we need to be considering?
So fair point, Sharon, if we didn't need them at North, why do we need them? But she did tell me personally that she was requesting 4 different breakouts. So did you consult with Ms. Westbrook? Is that how you chose the spaces you offered her?
No, Liliana told me what she needed, and those are the rooms that are closest to room 129.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and it has what they need, so I'll be working with Matthew as far as audio and visual for those.
Oh, yeah, okay. I do know they will need, she probably told you this, but they'll need setup space for food.
That's gonna happen in 129.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the DAC meeting will be from 5:30 to 8, and I said next week, and you're right, it's the 29th. So, not next week, in 3 weeks on the 29th. So please come if you're able and support the DAC, and support Mitchell offering that to DAC.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd love an update on all the rest, but stay tuned, we'll get there. If you need anything about the 8th grade Discovery Night before we meet on February 12th, and Discovery Night is?
So actually, the Discovery Day, because we are moving away from the nighttime to capture more kids, is going to be January 21st from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m.
So what do you need for that?
Really, at this point, just presents maybe. Just presents, and you can see, 8th graders on our campus. Teachers are going to be involved. We're expecting approximately 300 8th graders who will then be divided into smaller groups and will rotate in our different spaces to, once again, let them know what we can offer them in terms of programming and hopefully increase those enrollment numbers that we talked about.
Okay. Is Ms. Standard still on?
Yes.
So Ms. Standard, do you have a date for the Knowledge Bowl yet? Is that 8th grade Discovery Day? Or a different date?
That would be a different day, but go ahead, Ms. Standard.
This is a SAC workshop.
Oh yeah, no, I do not have a date yet set. That is the next step in this. We are getting more and more people involved in making this happen, but setting a date is the next thing to happen. By the next SAC meeting, you should have a date for it.
Awesome. Okay, so upcoming Mitchell dates for you all to know and participate with, pretty please, are Wednesday, did you say Wednesday?
Wednesday, January 21st. Yes.
8th grade Discovery Day, 12 to 3 p.m. And then the following week here, from 6 to 8 p.m., Thursday, January 29th, hosting the DAC. And your next SAC meeting for this group, right here, same time, same station, Thursday, February 12th,
Nice job.
5 p.m.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Ms. Webb,
Yes.
the 29th is a SAC workshop here at Mitchell.
Yeah, not DAC, sorry.
Not
Keep
DAC, because
interchanging
I'm
the
like,
words.
wait a minute.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
on the 12th, it is the DAC meeting, right?
Next week, the 15th.
Yes, okay.
Yes. Sorry, it's all in my, you're absolutely correct.
So
SAC
that's what we're
workshop.
having here.
SAC workshop
SAC
is here.
workshop.
Copy
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yes, I have to be at all of it, so I get it. SAC workshop, got it.
And that's 6 to 8:30.
What is the significance, if I may
5:30
ask, of a
to
SAC workshop? Like at that,
Teaches us how to be SAC members.
are we the best one yet?
Listen,
No, I just want.
Work in progress.
we're a work in progress, and if you paid any attention, anybody who was at last night's board meeting, we heard from the DAC chairperson, she was so direct at saying the DAC is not to be micromanaged. And so
Yep.
we'll just see what happens, because the SAC workshop is really a DAC thing. So downtown should not be telling us how to operate.
Which is why the times have changed, because downtown is trying to a whole lot more steer the DAC more, and so the staff SAC workshop night is actually 5:30 to 8.
5:30 to 8, thank you.
5:30 to 8.
Yes, and you know that's against the law. There's a statute that says.
Well, downtown D11 does a lot of things against the law, but we won't go there. We will adjourn this SAC meeting.
Nice.
And cut
End on a
back.
positive.
That is a positive.
All right, I'm turning off the WebEx. Brookie, thank you. Matthew, thank you.